In this video, we're going to be talking about how to grow muscle and lose fat at the same time. And I'll be sharing everything I needed to know to go from this, a body that may look small but actually had very little muscle on it, to this, which I took within the past year and has much more muscle and a lower or similar amount of body fat. Losing fat and maintaining or gaining muscle at the same time is called body recomposition. I mean, sounds kind of nice, right? Body recomposition is going to be easier for two main groups of people who this video is going to be most useful for. And those two groups of people, number one is going to be people who are completely new to resistance training, haven't really picked up a weight or done any serious dedicated time in the gym or using body weight training to build muscle. That's group number one. Group number two is going to be people who have had lots of experience in the gym with resistance training, growing muscle, but have taken a long break from actually training in the gym. And I fall into that current group, even though I've been in the resistance training world for at least 6 years now. I just got back from about 5 months of not consistently working out, which means I fall into this group number two. And that is the reason I'm making this video today, to help you go through your body recomposition journey. Plus, I'm starting my own body recomposition journey over the next few months. I'm going to be doing a series. If you want to follow along, don't forget to hit subscribe. And on that note, let's go into how you're actually able to gain muscle and lose fat. And the three main areas that we're going to be going through are nutrition, training, and recovery. Starting with nutrition, you're going to want to aim to eat at either maintenance or in a very slight caloric deficit. I personally like to work around 10% caloric deficit, if not my maintenance. Stay up to date with how my biofeedback is, how I'm feeling throughout my workouts, and how fast I'm making progress in the gym. The slight caloric deficit is going to be more useful if you're starting at a higher body fat percentage, but most people are able to make some serious progress just eating at maintenance, and the reason for that is it takes calories for your body to create muscle, for you to build the muscle that you need. Plus, as you build muscle, it's going to increase the number of calories that your body needs naturally in order to exist, because muscle burns more calories than fat. Now, regarding what to eat, arguably, one of the most important things is going to be how much protein you consume on a daily basis. And that is why you see high protein everything. Everyone's interested in high protein nowadays. Protein is the building block of muscle. When you eat higher protein, it's able to preserve the muscle that you have and help you build more. And studies have shown that people who eat between 1.6 and 2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight, which is around 1 gram per pound body weight, they're able to maintain the muscle that they have and even build muscle when compared with people who don't eat a high protein diet. So if you're going to be doing the hard training anyway, you might as well actually eat enough protein so you see the benefit of it. If I'm doing Bulgarian split squats, you best believe that I'm going to be hitting my protein goal. That being said, for some people it's really challenging to hit your protein goal. Recommendations I have is try to break up your protein into smaller chunks more times throughout the day. So if you think about doing somewhere between 3 meals and maybe 2 snacks, it'll be easier for you to get in your protein, and just prioritize leaner sources of protein and more protein-rich foods throughout your day. I also like starting the beginning of my day with a high-protein breakfast that just sets me on track for the rest of my day. As for other nutrition, eating complex carbohydrates, healthy fatty acids, and in general, trying to eat more vegetables and fruits, which are going to be higher in nutrients and lower in calories, which a lot of people think of your volume foods. They help me stay full for longer, but also help me keep my calories low, which will help facilitate fat loss. And this also might mean reducing the number of processed foods and sweet treats that you have for a season of time. And believe me, I love a sweet treat. I love a cinnamon roll, but it's only for a period of time. It's not forever. And also, I wouldn't recommend that you get rid of all of your sweet treats completely restricting any sweets or food groups can just lead to binge eating cycles where you don't have any cinnamon rolls, and then all of a sudden you pass a cinnamon roll shop and you have low discipline that day, and all of a sudden you purchase and consume approximately 80 cinnamon rolls at once. That was an exaggeration, but only a small one. I found that if I let myself have a little bit of the sweet treat and don't restrict it from myself completely, it's a lot easier for me to make sustainable changes, and doing so in a happy way where I'm enjoying my training, I'm feeling fueled, I'm making progress, but I'm also getting my sweet treat in every once in a while. Let's move on to training. The most important part in general in doing body recomposition is you're going to want to add in resistance training a few times a week, somewhere between 3 to 5 intense going hard sessions per week. And what I mean by going hard is coming within about 3 reps of failure. You're training with intensity. This is really important because you want to be growing muscle, which means you need to be properly training with enough volume per muscle group and enough intensity throughout the week. Otherwise, you're just going to either be maintaining muscle or just losing fat. But if we want to have the body recomposition of losing fat and also gaining muscle, we need to be doing the proper training. And you can be doing this with body weight training, such as calisthenics training or resistance training in the gym. Now, circling to cardio. Like I mentioned before, if you want to either eat at maintenance or in a very slight caloric deficit, about 10%, adding in cardio 1 to 2 times a week can help you reach that caloric deficit. But you don't want to be doing too much more than 1 to 2 times a week, because that's going to make it harder for your body to build muscle. You're not going to have as much energy, and your body is going to be too focused on, am I burning calories or am I actually fueling and building muscle here? And both low intensity steady state or LISS cardio, as well as high intensity interval training or HIIT cardio, they both work. I am much more preferential and generally recommend HIIT training, high intensity interval training. Studies have shown that if you couple high intensity interval training with resistance training, you're able to build and preserve more muscle when losing fat at the same time than if you were to do a different form of cardio. And what high intensity interval training is working really, really hard for somewhere between 20 to 30 seconds and then resting for a short period of time immediately after, somewhere around 30 seconds or so, and then repeating that. This is going to elevate your heart rate, give you a little bit of rest to recover, and then elevate it again. You're supposed to be training at a high intensity here. Usually high intensity interval training is somewhere around or below 20 minutes, 25 minutes max. The only people I wouldn't recommend HIIT training for are going to be people with weaker joints or people who are prone to overdoing it. And you know who you are out there. If you know that you're prone to overdoing it with exercise, then maybe HIIT training isn't necessarily the best for you. It's really important that you don't overdo it with HIIT training, because it is a very stressful thing. I mean, it's in the name, high intensity. I've made the mistake of not once, but twice overdoing it with high intensity interval training, not letting myself recover enough, not fueling properly, and this had a bunch of negative effects on my health personally. I lost my period and I was constantly tired all the time. So I would not recommend overdoing HIIT. Now I stick to between 1 and 2 HIIT sessions per week. 2 is my absolute max. I will not go to 3. I think it's important to remember that in body recomposition, it's not a night and day difference 1 month in. You want body recomposition to be a sustainable process that you can follow out for months. Any changes that are going to happen in like 1 or 2 months might be too fast. Any metabolic changes, they're going to take a while. So just stick with it, but they will take some time. Let's start by talking about the trick that most people fall into when they're looking to track progress in gaining muscle or losing fat. And that is, they go straight to tracking progress using the scale, which is going to detect your body weight. And this is not the best metric to track progress, since your muscle weighs more than fat. So if you're going through body recomposition where you're gaining muscle, but you're also losing fat at the same time, your body weight might be staying the same or even potentially going up, which might indicate to you that you're not doing so great in your body recomposition goals, even if you actually are. So what are the 2 things that you can use to track your body composition progress other than using the scale? Number 1 is going to be progress photos. These are going to show you your physique, and over time, as you go through body recomposition, increase in muscle and decrease in fat mass, your muscles will become more visible because there's a lower amount of fat sitting on top of them, and therefore in your progress photos, your muscles will be more defined and you'll look a bit leaner, more jacked. This will be more noticeable over the long period of body recomposition, not on a daily basis. So daily progress photos are really not recommended. I think that they just contribute to body dysmorphia. Wouldn't recommend. And the second way of tracking progress is going to be going off of how you feel. The first time that I did body recomposition, I went hard in the gym, but I was not eating enough calories in order to properly fuel my training and grow muscle along with losing fat. So I started feeling really, really exhausted in my training workouts. Throughout the day, I felt foggy, and these were signs that I wasn't eating enough to properly fuel my fitness goals. Going into any season of gaining muscle and also losing fat, it's really, really useful to keep a journal where you can track how you're feeling. How is your energy level throughout the day? Do you feel alert? Do you feel awake? Do you have the focus that you need throughout the rest of your day? Maybe you're doing academic studies. Are you able to actually read papers and study throughout the day? And also, how is your mood? I've noticed that when my mood drops for a prolonged period of time, not just periodically throughout the month on a cloudy day, but when it actually drops for at least 2 weeks or so, I can check into my nutrition, check into my training. Am I resting properly? Am I allowing myself to properly recover? Am I fueling properly? So this biofeedback of my mood, energy, and other ways that I'm feeling are good feedback for me to take into account when thinking about how I'm training. And the last area we're going to talk about is going to be recovery. So before you go ahead reaching for any supplements or pills, let's talk about sleep and hydration. But sleep does wonders when you actually are able to sleep around 8 to 9 hours a night consistently with good sleep hygiene. So you're not like waking up in the middle of the night unable to sleep, but when you actually have a regular sleep schedule, you've set your circadian rhythm so that you're able to get those 8 to 9 hours a night. It is incredible how much easier it is to gain muscle and lose fat. There's actually a study that showed that people who were doing the same training, they were both eating high protein. One group was able to sleep around 8.5 hours a night and the other one slept around 5. And although they had similar weight changes, the group that was able to sleep more maintained much more muscle than the group who didn't. So the group that slept 5 hours, although they lost the same amount of weight, they lost a lot more muscle than the other group, which obviously is not going to make them more lean. Plus, sleep is so important for recovery, building muscle, your hormones, and in general, being a good person. I mean, I don't know about you, but I am a very grumpy person when I'm not getting my 7 hours plus of sleep. Hydration wise, don't forget to drink plenty of fluids. Somewhere between 1.5 to 2 liters per day is the general recommendation on a minimum. And 2 things that help me do this is getting a cute little hydro flask, something with a straw that makes it easier to drink water. And if you really struggle to drink water, one thing that can help kickstart the hydration habit is adding some juice or sweetener to your water. What I've been doing is adding black currant juice to my water. My friends in the UK, you have been gatekeeping black currant juice. The United States doesn't have black currant juice, and I think we really need to bring it in because it is elite. Now, workouts and nutrition aside, the last thing that you really need to have a successful body recomposition is going to be the proper mindset. In the past, I've made the mistake of wanting to lose fat and gain muscle because I didn't like how my body looked. And I would not recommend this because no matter how much fat you lose, no matter how much muscle you gain, you are always going to be able to find things you don't love about your body. Self-love and how you see yourself is mostly mindset. So until you change your mindset about how you talk to yourself, how you treat yourself, no amount of body recomposition is going to make you love your body. So you have to be starting from a place of self-love and really caring about your body as you go into a body recomposition. And note number 2 is you want to see this as a long-term thing. In order to make sustainable changes, if you can't see yourself doing these workouts on a long time frame, let's say in a decade, then it's not sustainable. The goal is to make workouts that you can see yourself doing forever, not workouts that you can see yourself just getting through for 2 months. Even if that means taking your workouts from 5 or 6 workouts down to 3 or 4 workouts, being able to do them for longer, that's gonna help you so much more in the long term. And the last mindset shift is something for you to go ahead and remind yourself when it just feels hard. Because let's be real, if you're just getting started into the gym and adding in any change to your lifestyle, starting a workout routine, changing your diet, changing your sleep patterns, it can feel very uncomfortable at times. And one thing that's helped me a lot in the past as I'm going through body recomposition, or even just in my fitness journey in general, is discomfort isn't necessarily a bad thing. I'll reframe discomfort as, hey, this is uncomfortable, but it's just an emotion and I need to go through this in order to grow and become the person I want to be on the other side. Because honestly, that feeling of discomfort that you get from something, maybe starting to work out in a new place, that anxiety you might get with starting to be in the gym setting, that uncomfortable feeling is going to go away in a few months anyway, and there'll be a different uncomfortable feeling, a new thing for you to grow through and learn from. But try not to see discomfort as a bad thing, try to embrace it and see it as growth. So those are the main things that you need to know about how to lose fat and gain muscle at the same time. And I'll be sharing my own body recomposition journey over the next few months as I go through body recomposition. So if you want to see more, don't forget to hit subscribe. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments because I can make a follow-up video on any of these topics. With that being said, I will see you in the next video.